authorities have arrived at Zhong Wei's house. As his body is being bagged, Tony Stark walks into the crime scene and laments his passing. In his narration, he comments that the police believe Wei died by suicide with repulsor technology. In a flashback to the early days of the Armor Wars, Tony Stark storms into Wei's laboratory to insist on his offer for Zhong to join the board of Stark International. As they observe a laser experiment, Tony explains that he wants Wei in the board to make sure it is composed of moral people he trusts, citing Zhong's recent fending off of AIM. Tony leaves when Jim Rhodes warns him via radio to suit up. The raiders are flying over the area, looking for Iron Man. They spot Tony on the rooftop of Wei's laboratory as he is finishing suiting up, and attack him. This blows a hole in the ceiling, much to Wei's dismay. Rhodey arrives aboard an ultralight helicopter to provide backup. The scuffle continues, and one of the raiders causes Tony to fall on top of Zhong's car. Iron Man assures him that Stark will provide him with a new one. The next morning, after Iron Man and Rhodes stopped the raiders, Tony had breakfast with Zhong's family at their house, and closed the deal for Zhong to join Stark International. It turns out that Wei went bankrupt handling a takeover attempt of his old company by AIM, who wanted his laser for nefarious purposes. Tony wanted somebody on the board who would similarly value people's safety over money. As Tony is walking out of the house and toward his parked suit, War Machine arrives to offer his help, clad in a new armor. Stark suits up, and leads Rhodey back to New York City to check out a hunch. War Machine follows Tony as he breaks into Stark Unlimited HQ, using his armor's lasers to perforate a circle into a window. Tony asks BOSS to find any new projects that have been given budget designations in the last month, and the AI directs them to Lab 3B. Tony busts the door open, and the duo finds a pod in the middle of the laboratory. As Tony examines it, a sentient copy of his current armor bursts out of it and attacks the two heroes. After Rhodey and he trade blows with the armor, Iron Man empties a canister of liquid nitrogen on it, freezing it in place. Stark points out that the designs for this armor were conceived and fabricated outside of Stark Unlimited, meaning he has been personally hacked. Tony removes the armor's faceplate, revealing its pilot to be a malicious LMD imposter of himself. The saboteur speaks through the LMD and taunts Tony, but also commends him for finding this laboratory before he revealed it tomorrow, admitting that he was worried due to Stark's initial slowness that he was going to be a disappointing foe. After the LMD mocks Zhong's death, Tony lashes out and knocks it down with a punch. To Tony's surprise, the LMD's controller reveals that Zhong's shares of Stark Unlimited were transferred to a charity days before he died, and that they have been sold several times since then, meaning that he owns the company and all of Tony's patents. The LMD self-immolates as its controller challenges Tony to find him and see how smart he really is. The LMD laughs maniacally, cheering Tony's resolve to avenge Zhong Wei, and telling him to come out swinging when the bells ring in the morning, before its skin melts off and it shuts down. Tony advises Rhodey to keep his distance for a while. He assures Jim that he knows who is behind this, and warns his friend that he will need to go start an international incident,